Where are women encouraged to develop power? It's very hard to find a powerful woman. You not only respect for her wisdom, you also fear for her strength. That's why my guru taught me Kalim. That's the first thing he taught me. And later I learned it from Kali herself. Most women haven't even experienced a real proper turn on because they haven't focused on a man's purpose at all. There's a student of mine now, she's having dreams of all sorts of violence. That means Kali is initiating her. And those guys will stay away because she'll have powers over there. They come even in sleep paralysis and all that. She can just jump up even in her astral body and then cut off that little bit pranayama. Teach them, they're already seeing Devi. So when you have divine counsel, a woman can connect to a spiritual source and give you divine counsel as a Devi herself. You swallowed all society's fake knowledge that women need to be protected. All women need to train. You might never have to use your training, but you have to train because that's a software that grows inside you, which is warrior-like, which is I don't give up. Sexual violence is violence that happens to one of the sexes, either to the men or the women. So it's violence that happens because she's a woman, or violence that happens because he's a man, violence that happens because of the sex. It's called sexual violence. So, I mean, at least that's my definition. You can find 100 definitions on the internet. But this is a very special kind of violence because it affects the entire gender. And it can happen in subtle ways that you don't know. Even sexism is a form of sexual violence. And not celebrating the differences and understanding the complementariness of men and women, and instead pegging men against women or vice versa in any kind of conversation is also sexual violence. So that's what it is. Swami Vivekananda said that men and women are two wings of a giant eagle. And unless both the wings are healthy and fluttering, that bird is not going to fly, and that bird is humanity. So that's why it's very important to remove violence between men and women forever. The seed is not understanding what are the strengths of a gender, whether it's female or male, and not understanding what are the weaknesses. So when we also don't understand how to respect them then. If we don't know someone's strength, we can't respect them. If we don't know the strength of women, we can't respect them. If we don't know the strength of men, we can't respect them. And we realize, wow, this is something amazing. Then we can respect people. We have to find the people whom we respect amazing. People are like, I respect and fear someone. You can't, because you're not finding them amazing. You're finding them fearful. Okay? When you respect someone, you'll be in adbhuta, wonder. You'll be like, wow, amazing. That's how you have to feel. If you don't feel that way, there is a window for violence to come. Because when there is no respect, that is when violence creeps in. You see, sexual arousal, it's the containment of the Kundalini Shakti within you, which is Devi herself. She, lying at your pelvic floor, is very lonely. And she seeks to go and unite with Shiva, who's on the top of the head. These are two forces, two polarities, your pelvic floor and the top of your head. And there should be a good communication and a good flow of energy between these two. Then you won't have perverse sexuality. But what happens is that like who would have a fantasy of being is somebody who's undergone some kind of abuse always. They've been forced into sex earlier and they think that this is sexual. Yes, they did not probably enjoy it then, but thinking about it makes them uh, get off on it. Like a lot of people, after they break up, they're still fantasizing about having sex with their ex. You've been abused so much in that relationship, and you're still fantasizing having sex with them. And this is perverse. This is because you're not giving a proper outlet for the loneliness that is there in Devi, not in you. It's there in her. It's a spiritual journey that's happening. So you don't have to own any of that loneliness. You have to say that, wow, Devi is really hungry. So she's going to do something. And then you just allow her to move through you. And when you allow that energy to come upwards, that's when you have real sexual arousal. This sexual arousal in women is only possible when they see the purpose of the man. The purpose is the lingam of the man. The woman sees it and says, wow, it's so big. And she gets aroused. Because if she sees herself as also big, otherwise she'll get aroused by some small purpose, and even that works. But the thing is, when men don't have purpose, they're not attractive or arousing to women. They just can't give themselves to such a man. And when I say a woman gives herself, she gives her wisdom. She will not employ her higher senses. A woman has much higher sensitivity than a man, and this is easy to prove. Just rub your finger on a man like this, rub your finger on a woman like this, and there's a completely different reaction. The intensity with which a woman just feels one finger sliding across her body is 100 times more than a man feels. And even the number of colors a woman can see is higher. She can distinguish between frequencies. Men don't know what fuchsia is. Okay? So there's a greater range, there's greater ability to focus. World appears in more colors to women. And they get a lot of information that men are not getting, which is why women have intuition. They're not able to explain to men how they know this. She can't say, I saw more colors on this one, so it's better. The man will say, what the hell are you talking about? Okay? She can't say, I got a vibe from this. Women are able to sense even feelings and energies which men can't sense. Women can sense the radiation of a mobile phone very easily when they hold it in the hand and then they leave it. But a man can't even sense that. So there's a lot that men can't sense. Women can go out into the moon and sense all sorts of things, all sorts of stuff. And she has to be allowed and she has to be respected for her wisdom. The men who don't respect women for their wisdom will, of course, never get aroused by women. They're only getting aroused and titillated by the body of a woman, which has been shown to them again and again and again on porn, and that too particular kind of body has been shown all the time. Nowadays, so everybody is showing every kind of body because OnlyFans came. So now men have variety in porn. But so that doesn't improve the situation because they're still turned on only by the body. They're not turned on by the woman's wisdom. So they might, if they had a realistic blow-up doll, they would prefer that. A Japanese man got married to a pillow because he prefers that over a woman, because he's not able to get turned on by a woman because he doesn't accept women have wisdom. Okay? So men who don't accept women have wisdom, you'll never get turned on by a woman's wisdom, which is what turns you on. And women who don't accept that men have superior ways to find purpose and keep saying, I can find my own purpose and I will give the man purpose, you're not going to learn ever to respect a man's strengths. So these are the strengths of men and women. And if you don't agree with me, then you'll never be sexually aroused. That's the truth of the matter. So try to reflect upon what I said and see the truth in your own body. When you actually find someone who's really committed to their purpose, that's what turns you on. Instead, if you go and give him purpose, you give that man purpose and say, I'm going to be your purpose and you have to look after me, then you won't get turned on by him. You'll always be thinking of the neighbor when you're having sex with him. Okay? So, or whoever has got purpose. And then you'll say, why can't my husband be like that guy? So that's the problem. And men, of course, men have completely concluded that women are all idiots. They're just women are idiots. Yeah, they're just emotional idiots. They don't have. It's not emotions. It's a sensitivity that is making them respond in different ways. And you've got to respect that. And if you respect that, that will become your strength. She'll give herself to you in your service. She'll use her senses in your service. When she does that, there's no stopping you in your purpose. So first of all, if you don't have purpose, you don't have a lingam. So really, you're not going to be able to turn on any women. And so then you get frustrated. Men get frustrated. Women also get frustrated. Then men do sexual violence. Women also do sexual violence. That's what they do. They hate on men, and men hate on women. And they hate on women. Sometimes the expression becomes physical violence. But you should stop hating on women. How much should you hate women to go and rape a woman? How much should you hate them? Okay? That is some random woman who you don't even know. If you go and rape her, that means you really hate all women. And why do you hate women so much? Because you're getting frustrated because you got no purpose. You understand? An extreme loneliness that you're experiencing and nobody to give you any kind of sexual attention is happening because you don't have any purpose, which is the lingam of a man. And this is why you hate on women. And the more you hate on women, you're not going to have women because you're not going to respect their wisdom. And that's your problem as a man. So that's in a nutshell what it is. Everyone having fantasies is trying to do something because they're sexually frustrated. They're not able to respect a man's purpose. And the only one that seemed purposeful is the one that had them earlier. So then they're getting turned on by that. It seems purposeful. I asked a woman, why do you have these fantasies? She says, if he loves me, that means he really wants me. That's what she's telling herself. Do you want to actually get? She's like, no, that I can get hurt. A lot of things can happen. So I don't want that. I just fantasize about it. What's the harm in it? The harm in it is you haven't respected men for their real purpose, for their ability to come up with purpose, and you haven't encouraged that in any man. So you haven't seen that happen. That's your problem. If you fix that, then you'll get a real sexual arousal and you won't have to want to be. Okay? Anyway. But I tried explaining it to her. She didn't get it. She's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, all the perversions, right? BDSM and all sorts of things. And just like, it gets ridiculous. It's like people are getting turned on by shit. What? I mean, like, and that's how all these perversions happen, like getting turned on by children. Because basically they don't have any respect. So it's just all over the place. Something is imploded in there. That energy hasn't been respected. So Devi is really mad. And all sorts of things are happening in your life. And you go and do a lot of sins like this, with this. So just don't do. Try to understand what I said. Rewind it if you want and listen to it very carefully. So there's something called self-image, which is hidden in our Swadhisthana chakra over here, at the genitals. And there's where your self-image, Swadhisthana means self-establishment. So Adhisthana is establishment and Swa is self. So that's where your self is established. That's why you have something called self-image. We call it Swamurti. You can also call it Ahankara. Who are you in this world? So who she is in this world is somebody to whom this can be done. She's a complete victim in this world. When she's in like that, then obviously malefic spirits, the ones who died of sexual frustration and haven't found liberation yet, they haven't found the ability to have another birth yet, but during certain times they're able to come, especially in the night. They're able to interact with the world of the living, and then they don't see her, they see her worthlessness, and then they feel that this is a proper person to attack sexually. And this is exactly how sexual assault works in cases of rape and molestation and those kind of things where people are violating your consent and feeling your body or attacking you or you. These people are sensing your Swadhisthana. They're seeing that this person will not put up any fight. This person will be easy to. And that's why they are coming, because they are also been sexually frustrated and they feel that women haven't been fair to them because they're not getting any sex. And then they feel overly titillated by everything that they see around, and they feel entitled to have sex without purpose. And when they feel entitled like that, then their anger at it not being coming readily from the woman is what makes them hurt her. And also they can't get turned on because they really don't have any wisdom from the woman to turn them on, because she's not going to give them wisdom at this point. So they don't have any wisdom to turn themselves on. And so a lot of rapes are done with implements and, horrific things like putting an iron rod into a woman and all that happens because they couldn't get erections. That's why they hurt women so much, because they can't get it up, which is what happens. And some of them can, and it just goes down when she starts screaming and struggling. They can't continue with it. So then they do things like this, and they end up killing her after that. And after a lot of, they're afraid that the woman will go and tell the police, so they kill her. So many end in murder also because of this. Okay, it's the same thing. If it's happening in the spirit world also, it's because of your inner self-image that has become pretty low and victim-like instead of warrior-like. Which is why all women need to train. You might never have to use your training, but you have to train because that's a software that grows inside you, which is warrior-like, which is I don't give up. Yesterday I met a person who had swum across Bombay in the sea at the age of 7. She's a woman. I was like, what is this? What kind of endurance does she have? Who says women are weak? It's that thing. You swallowed all society's knowledge, that fake knowledge that women need to be protected. And you swallowed all that, and then you're like, when you don't have protection, you don't have confidence. When man is not there, then you don't have confidence. You're not able to handle such situations. Okay? Otherwise, she would do something. How hard is it to hurt a person? It's not very hard. It's just easy. If you know a little bit of martial arts, it's easy to beat even 10 people up. I'm not even scared of 100 people come. I'm ready to face it. And I have faced it in the past. Okay? I could do things which, when I felt something was unjust, my guru told me, if you don't have the power to fix it, stop fretting. Accept it and just move on. Accept that you don't care enough to fix it because you haven't cared enough to become powerful enough to fix it. And you're just whining for justice. Don't do that. I said, yeah, that makes sense. If I'm ever going to get justice, I want to be worthy of it. I want to have the power that justice comes running to me. And he said, yeah, that's what will happen. Justice will come running to you if you have power. So where's that power? Where are women encouraged to develop power? It's very hard to find a powerful woman who you not only respect for her wisdom, you also fear for her strength. That is something you need to see in the world. Yeah, that's why my guru taught me Kalim. That's the first thing he taught me. And later I learned it from Kali herself. In human form, she came and she taught me. So after that, I'm not scared of anything. I can start a war if I want, but I won't. Because the war is ideological. It is not physical as of now. But you should have the capability to even fight a physical war. Why are you not training like a warrior? Who's stopping you? It's a free country. At least India is. So you can go and train. You have to be curious about it. And you have to be like, not curious, but you have to be serious about it. When you're serious about it, there's nothing that can stop you, So that's how these things happen. And even this girl, instead of, like, what's she doing now? She's not training. She didn't send me anything on Instagram asking me for help. She doesn't even believe that it exists in the world, that there are solutions. There are solutions. It comes from training. If she starts training with me for 1 week, she won't have this anymore, which was going on from 5 years, because her self-image will improve. Okay? And those guys will stay away because she'll have powers over there. They come even in sleep paralysis and all that. She can just jump up even in her astral body and then cut off their dicks. She can do it. And there's a student of mine now, she's having dreams of all sorts of violence. That means Kali is initiating her. And she's like, I don't know why, but I felt that you're always standing there in the shadows. And I'm like, yeah, I'm there, of course. Enjoy these tests to see what kind of woman you are, you know? Hmm. It's a bunch of frustrating guys teaming up, that's all. Which is what men do. They made this their purpose now. So they inspired other people for this purpose. And they've convinced everybody that the woman deserves it because she's so despicable. How will you get sexually turned on by thinking women are despicable? How's that a sexual turn on? You have to find women cute and lovely and beautiful and amazing. Otherwise, how can you get turned on? Just how? If you keep whining about women, how do you think you're going to get turned on? Even if you get a woman. So this is the idiots who get together and make this their purpose, like let's have a woman. And then they pull it off. And that's what gangs are. So people with the same sexual frustration, because they haven't learned to respect women, they go and say, we can't get turned on by anything. It must be women's fault. Let us go attack them. Every I've interviewed in the jail, and I got this opportunity because I was making the manual for the bomb squad. I was making all the illustrations. And then the person there, the senior officer there, he said, I saw your work on women's and self-defense. So there are a lot of here in the central jail. Would you like to talk to them? I said, yes, of course, take me there. First thing I asked them is, why did you do it? And he said, women are spoiling society. I'm like, what kind of society is yours then? And then till the end, he couldn't live in that jail if he had accepted the heinousness of what he did. He would want to commit suicide. So he didn't accept it. He kept arguing with me. And then he started threatening me. He said, when I get out of jail, I'll come to you. And I said, do you think I'll lie down and take it? Think twice before you come. Bent his finger there also. His hand was on the jail, bent it nicely. There only. Okay? So the thing is that these guys are like thinking they're doing some kind of social good. Like women are spoiling society. Who asked her to come alone there? And these kind of things. And many of them had their own cousins and some had their own daughters. So why did you do that? She was acting like a slut. So do you think these people are thinking clear? They have psychological illness. They're not in any learning mode. The best place for them is jail. And if they come near you, the best place for them is hospital. You should train like that. Yeah, for both men and women, like, men are in not physical ways, they're in psychological ways. And it all starts with you not having any purpose. So the woman you're with is not turned on and she's just been forced to marry you. And because she didn't know how to say no to all of the people who are asking her to get married. And she's then had kids because she didn't know how to say no and she didn't want them either. And then she's made it her life's mission to find fault with you. Whatever you do, you'll never get respect. You'll never be treated properly. And that's a kind of psychological, right? Now, why are you in the marriage if you don't respect your husband? Leave and go. Okay? There's this torture that men feel that they're not getting respect from the women in their life. And that's a kind of as well. And women also go after men in various ways and lust after them, and then they want them and they don't care about consent. So when you don't care of consent and you're going all after a man who's actually terrified by you or scared by you, that's also a form of. So this is not that violent physically, so it doesn't get any attention. But it's happening. A lot of men have been forced into relationships that they didn't want. They were just going thinking, I'll get laid. But then what they got is a relationship and a future. Then they're suddenly on the timeline of the woman. So that's also kind of, because he didn't consent to being on the timeline and he didn't know how to say no. Okay. It's just like you can say that I was that woman and she didn't say no. She's in shock. She can't say no. She doesn't know what to say. And they say, she got wet when I was asking her. Yes, she will. Because if you rub the vagina, it will get wet. Okay? Doesn't mean she's turned on. A turn on is a different kind of wet. Okay? It's not what you guys normally experience. Nobody's even experienced. Most women haven't even experienced a real proper turn on because they haven't focused on a man's purpose at all. They've only found fault with him. They've only found out how he's not fair. And they wanted to win that argument of how he's not fair. And that's such a kick and some serotonin release. You're settling for that instead of real sexual arousal. Real sexual arousal cannot happen with a person you don't respect. Let's understand that first. So you have to have deep respect. And so you got to be careful. Men and women are meting out violence on each other. Men's violence is not recognized. The violence against men is not recognized. Violence against women is seen because the guy will get mad and punch her at some point because he's got no respect. Okay? So that's what happens. So finally, when you really don't respect someone, that's when you go and be violent. And I told you what to respect in women. It's their wisdom. By default, just have respect because you can't be even quarter of that as a man. Nothing. You can develop yourself like me highly, and I'm just a quarter as sensitive as a woman with all the development and all my training in subtle energies and that and this. I still am not as sensitive as a woman. I'm teaching this to my female students and they're like, yeah, Guruji, I see Devi. I see her anklets. I see her eyes. Yeah, it's great. She's right here. And I'm like, do you know how long it took me to see Devi? And I don't know. As a man, it took 20 years for me to be able to see Shiva or see Devi. But women are like, and there's Kamakya, somebody else, just coming. Little bit pranayam, it teach them, they're already seeing Devi. Okay? So when you have divine counsel, a woman can connect to a spiritual source and give you divine counsel as a Devi herself. If you don't respect her like that, then it's a problem. The guy who runs after a woman lusting, he deserves it. Because he didn't respect her as a Devi. He didn't see the Devi part in her at all. He just went lusting after her because he saw what he saw in a porn star is what he saw in her. That's all. So obviously she also doesn't feel respected with this. And he'll keep telling her how beautiful you are. But she's not feeling respected. She's like, okay. But then what about my abilities? Can I be respected for something other than my beauty? Because I didn't do anything for that. I got it from my mom and my dad. What do I have to do for that? Nothing. So now, next, what about me? What about my achievements? What about things I can do? Don't you see them? Don't you love them? No. Tits and ass. That's all. Okay? So then she also gets mad. She's like, I'm lose respect for you. I'm going to put you on my timeline and make fantasies of you. And she does that. She'll put it on this timeline and that's it. The guy can't escape because when a woman makes it up, something on a timeline, it's a Maya. She believes in it. She's like, this is going to happen. This is the truth. I trust this. It is divinely ordained. That's it. She won't let go. She's like a bulldog. You can't get rid of this chick who comes and bites you like that. Okay? Unless you give 2 slaps. Like not physically, you have to totally reject it. But you only went and attracted it, remember. You only went after and told her how beautiful she is. Why you did that? When you didn't believe it actually? Because you wanted to get laid. Like, oh, she's not as beautiful as the porn star, but it's okay. I mean, some ass is better than no ass. This kind of logic is getting you into that situation, okay? So the guys who get by women, you totally deserve it. Like, why didn't you say no to your parents when they were trying to force this girl down your throat? Why didn't you say, no, girls, I don't know anything about it, so I don't feel confident. Why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say the truth? Why did you lie that you feel confident to get married and that? And this is now you're getting married. Good. Okay, nobody's a real victim here. Everybody deserves the shit that they're going through. So if you sit and train properly, you don't have to be a victim. Only time you'll stop being a victim is when you have power, not before that. Okay. So now this safe space is only your respect. That's it. If you give a man respect, he feels safe to go and say his purpose. Because men will find simpler ways out of things. They'll find solutions. They want to build things. They want to build structures. That's what men want to do. You just have to respect them for that and say, use your male brain now. Find some structures and give them that space and respect. That's what you need to do. And same with women. Give them the space to express their wisdom. Expect it. Expect purpose from men. Expect wisdom from women, and they'll deliver. And that's really what I've been experimenting with, and it's working. Okay? That's what you need to do. And just try it out. What's so hard? Like, why can't you respect men's purpose? It's there. If you respect it, you'll see it. If you disrespect it, you'll call it something else, and in your mind, it'll be something else. You'll see then only what you believe. You'll not see what's there. And same with women. If all they're seeing is no brains and only boobs, then sorry, you've not respected her. So you're not going to see any of her wisdom. And you don't get any benefit of that female brain. Nothing. I mean, it's just jealousy, you know. They see someone with a woman, or they see a man with a woman or a woman with a man, and they want to do that, but they can't because they don't have either wisdom or purpose, depending on man or woman. They haven't developed it, and so they feel jealous that this is happening, and so they say, let's police them. We'll say some social rules and say this is our Indian culture, and we'll police you. You know, that's just what it is. Somebody got a lot of flack for having a tattoo of Ganesh on his shin, on his leg. So then they filed something against him and hurting religious sentiments, and they put him inside. So you should think of such things before you go and get like a Ganesh toilet seat. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay. You want a tattoo of Ganesh, no problem. You can put it, but put it in a respectful place that doesn't hurt people's religious sentiments, right? Don't get a tattoo of Allah on your chest just because you like Allah, because you're not supposed to. It'll hurt the sentiments of Muslims. Similarly, don't hurt the sentiments of any religion, whether it's Sikhs or Buddhists or whatever. Don't do things that are disrespectful, seen as disrespectful. If you go to Thailand and you have a Buddha head, they'll throw you in jail. They say, how can you have only head of Buddha? Is he dead? Did you cut it off? They get really offended and they don't like it. And it's a punishable offense to possess a head of a Buddha. But here you'll see it sold everywhere. So Thai people must be experiencing all sorts of pain when they come here because we're hurting the religious sentiments, and we should be sensitive to such things. And you want to be sensitive to such things, ask a woman, she'll be sensitive. If you give her the place for her wisdom and respect her for her sensitivity, instead of shaming her for her sensitivity, she'll tell you when you're crossing the line. Okay? Because most men don't have a sense of this. They don't know what's disrespectful, right? Go get Ganesh tattoo on your foot. And somebody will see it, they're like, this is my God, I touch his feet, but you put the God only on your feet, who are you? It's irritating. Okay? But you can't understand that sentiment for most people. So they don't understand when they are hurting people's sentiments. So sometimes the moral policing is because of hurting people's sentiments. Like you go to a mandir wearing hot pants. It's distracting people. They came here to see God, but they can't take their eyes off your ass because it's all like in the hot pants. Like why? Why can't you cover yourself up properly and go? Okay. So it's not that difficult to understand this. Go appropriately dressed to the right kind of places. If you got tattoos, cover them up. In your country, you can put a tattoo of Ganesh anywhere you want. Nobody cares. But here, people care. So if you come here, expect trouble, just wear socks. Cover it up so that you're not hurting people. Okay? That's what you need to do. So you should know when people are really genuinely hurt, the best thing to say is, I'm sorry, I realize I've hurt you. And they let you go most of the time. You sit and argue, how can you tell me where I can get my tattoos? They'll throw you in the jail. So that's what happens even in moral policing when it comes to couples walking around on Valentine's Day, when Shiv Sena has totally made it their agenda to go and beat them. They're like, you can't celebrate this. This is a false festival that is corrupting our youth, according to them. You're not listening. That's what they think. And they got sticks. Why are you going with your girlfriend out in Bombay? Just sit somewhere in your house and Swiggy something. No? Or just go in a cab somewhere and come back in a cab somewhere from wherever you went. Don't stand in a natural spot and then wait for them to come and beat you up, because they don't like it. And you should respect that, because you're living in the land where they are echoing the sentiments of the people only. A lot of people don't like it. It's not only them. Some people have gotten so violent about it after bearing it for so long, they just can't bear it anymore. And they've been telling you that this hurts them, but you've not been listening. So you should start listening. You start listening to the signs. How to behave in an Indian village is different from how you would behave in a European village. In a European village, you can probably kiss your partner in public, it's no problem. But Indian village, you do that, they'll be like, what is this? Why are you doing this? This is something we do in private. Why are you doing it here? And you can't understand. You're like, what is wrong? Everybody at home does it. Like, you're not home. You can't do it. That's not a problem. Just say sorry. I'm sorry, this is what we do at home. It's not okay here. Okay. That's it. That's all you got to do. But that's not what people do. They trigger the other person even more. First of all, they're mad at you and you can't sense that at all. And you're like, how can you talk to me like this, to moral policer? Okay, so there's a lot of that going on too. And there's also some real jealousy going on. Like, people are like, how can this guy do this? I've never done this in my life. I'm going to punish him. Something like that. So there have been also, because in the name of moral policing. I mean, like, yeah, these guys came here and they did all this, so they deserve. She wants to act like a slut, we'll show her how what a real slut feels like, something like that. And that's how the rapes happen. You understand that in the mind, it's completely justified. He feels he's doing good. You know, he's seeing people who've done great social service and he's put himself among their ranks. That's what he thinks he is, a revolutionary. Every thinks he's a revolutionary. Psychological illness. So you have to be very careful where you're going, you know, that environment where you're going, what's allowed and what's not allowed, you should have a sense of it. If you're a woman, you'll get a sense of it. But what happens is the emotions take over. So now it's time to tell you the difference between sensations and emotions. Sensations are what you feel and it's true and you can trust your sensations. But you cannot trust your emotions because they've been given to you by Thames Nadi, Bollywood, media and news. And what are emotions? A shortcut to action. Not only do they tell you all that, they tell you what kind of action is appropriate for this emotion. That's why when someone dies, everyone cries. Because they've seen it 100 times in the Bollywood movie. Even if they don't have tears, it'll come. Even if they hated that person, they'll go, oh, what? And I used to stop those aunties saying, hey, you didn't like my grandmother, why are you crying? And then they would go complain to my mom. Okay? So you start doing things that are against your sensations when you get hijacked from your sensations by emotions. So the sensations will continue because sensations are just reporting things to you. There's pain here, this is broken, this is not working, your relationship sucks, it's reporting it to you. You got to just feel the sensation, you'll get the thoughts, yes, this is about my relationship sucking, I've had enough of it, I'll do something. That action is different from the one where the emotion comes, oh, I'm stressed, let me eat a cake. Because that's what you've seen people do. They have jokes about it. They have memes about it. The common culture is spreading that the way to deal with stress is something called stress relief. It has nothing to do with solving the problem. The way to get out of stress is to solve the problem. That's only going to happen if you focus on your sensations. So please know the difference. Sensations, trustworthy. Emotions, hijacking. A thief hijacks and steals your energy. A robber. Don't allow emotions to rob you of your energy. Okay? So when you do that, you allow emotions to rob you, then you'll be involved in unnecessary, fruitless actions. Don't do it. Be very strict about your emotions. Just don't agree to feel any emotions. Say, I will feel sensations. If you want to feel sensations, my Guru taught me, hold your breath. Just don't breathe. And your sensations will amplify in your body. Whenever you have emotions, stop this and feel the sensations in your body. Different thoughts and different line of action will start to form instead of your irregular shit, which you got from Bollywood. Enough of imitating Bollywood people. They're only not happy. Don't imitate them. No. Women get hijacked by their emotions because they swallowed too much fiction. So that's a problem. We need to learn to reject that. It's a matter of life and death. It is. So all women need to learn to reject all of the program. Men also. Too much fiction programming. Nothing to do with reality. Get your information about reality from reality, which is your senses, your sensations. That's your information about reality. Start reading it. Understand the sensations. Truth will start coming to you if you just hold your breath for a few seconds. Feel your sensation. Once you feel your sensation, you'll get decisions. And you'll be unstoppable.